It's my favorite time of the month. Time for Open Gate box. Mine kind of got a little destroyed in the mail this time. I mean, look at that. Sometimes that happens. All right, let's take a look at what's inside. Let's break that paper. It says for August, we have a trellis table runner with True Love Lella Boutique for Moda. And then it says we got the block 3 for the project of the month. And then there's some thread, there's a fat quarter, and a pattern. Ooh, look at that. What do we got? Ooh, Trellis Table Runner, True Love by Lella Boutique. That's what we're making. Ooh, that looks actually pretty simple because it's nice to have a break of simplicity every now and then. Oh, what else do we have? Oh, look at this. Sweet polka dot block of the month is, ooh, I'm going to be making a lovely star. That's nice. We got a pattern to make a thread catch. Ooh, this would work perfect with the long arm. And it even has a little weight thing and everything. Oh, that's cool. Cool, cool. We have a fat quarter. What is the fat quarter? It is cloth pumpkins. Interesting. Quite interesting. And then a spool of thread, color 2600. It is like a light gray. All right, so I definitely don't need those right now. I do need the project and the block of the month though. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there, and then I'll do this second. All right, let's see. We've got the charm pack. Oh, that's pretty. So True Love by Lella Boutique charm pack, and then a matching blue. It's a navy blue. And then the directions, which are quite simple because it's a charm pack. So all I have to do is cut up the blue. So very simple, only one page. That's fun. It's great when it's that much. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna go ahead and press this fabric, but I don't need to do anything with that. That just stays as is. So I'm ready to look over my instructions and cut out this fabric right here, and then separate my charms. So I'm going to start by cutting the blue navy fabric first. All of my parts and pieces are now cut. It took me longer than whatever because I'm just not feeling too good today. But we're doing this because this always makes me feel better. So I'm going to go ahead now and start reading the directions and putting it together, which it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started. All right, here I am at the machine. I'm going to give myself a nice 1/4 inch seam because that's highly, highly important in our quilting. So get that over that way, right here. There's my 1/4 inch seam. 1/4 inch of perfection. Here we go. So I'm just going to take these and sew these pieces together with them in sets of 2, except for, well, I can do the whole thing in sets of 2 because that's just how it's going to work. So I'm going to literally sew one of these onto this. So that'll be with that one. And then grab another one and sew it on here. And then grab another one. Match that second one up with this. Now this is the third one. I'm just going to make a stack of matching them together. So that we'll put this one with that third one and just keep going. I've sewn my 21 pairs of 2. Now I should have 14 pieces left to go ahead and do 2 rows of 7. So let's see. 1, 2. 3, 4. Oops, so one's going to go on this side. One will be in this row. One will be in this row. I repeated that one. No. Okay, so that will go there. That will go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 6, 7, and 7. All right, so now I'm going to hook these together with my navy in between. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'm going to sew it in 2, then hook 2, and then so on and so forth. Honestly, it doesn't really matter the order, but I'll just move them over this way. So I'm going to put one on first. Then I will finger press, add the next piece to it. Then I will finger press, and now I'm pressing towards the navy blue each time. All right, put another one on. Press towards the navy blue, add the next piece. Towards the navy blue, add the next piece. The directions probably say to press a different way, but I'm just pressing how I press. Projects like these little ones, sometimes it matters and sometimes it doesn't on which way to press. I think the instructions have everything pressed in the same direction though. Oh, come on. So I'm going to do this 2 times, this time and then another. I kind of want to put this on this side because that's so light. It's not fully blended, but I'm making it work. This one on this side, and I'm going to put the other one on the other side. And then I should have 6 left, 6 of my navy left. All right, there that is. So there's one end. I'm going to just set that aside because it needs to be ironed. I'm going to go ahead and put these through now. I'm just going to do this out of order. I'm just going to go like this. All right, so I'm going to take both of these over and press them. And look, I had one extra. I'm going to press these and then start laying it out so that way I can see what's going to land where when it comes to all these small ones. That way no 2 are the same next to each other. I thought about it and I was like, wait a second, maybe I should sew the charm squares with their pieces. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attach one to each side of my charm squares first and then lay it out. All of my parts and pieces are made, so now all I need to do is lay it out. So I'm going to put one of those on each end. I'm going to set those aside temporarily. And I'm going to go ahead and lay these . Seven. Why do I have 8? Apparently wasn't paying attention. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. I made one more than I needed. All right, so in between is going to be, obviously I'm not going to be able to fully lay it out right here, but right now I'm just getting the general idea because obviously these are going to go in between, but I just want to make sure no 2 sames are touching. So right now it's just for pretend. Let's put that one that way. All right, so now I'm gonna make this a row, and then make this a row, and this a row, and so on and so forth until they're all sewn up. I don't see anything touching that is not the same color, so that's a plus. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take these like this over to the machine, and there's a row. And then this one is a row. This one is a row. So now I'm going to go ahead and sew all these rows together. All of the rows are made, so now I just need to take these strips and put them in between each row. So I'm just gonna move them over like this because I don't have that much table space. I mean, I have a lot of table space, but I'm gonna go ahead now and put this one on here. Then I'll put this one on here. And then the next one on that. Until they're all done, and then I'll hook them together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So now I have my navy piece inserted. So now I'm just going to stick these right sides together and attach each one. So I'll sew this seam, open it up, hook this one on, open it up, all the way till I get to the end where I have a strip that's smaller left. So I'm going to go ahead and start that now. When I'm not feeling well, it shows. I didn't bother to nest any of the seams up to make them on top of each other. It's not that I don't love to sew and do things. Today is just not my day. But I wanted to get this done to make myself feel a little bit better. So nothing matches up. I do want to make a suggestion. Before you cut into your charm pack, cut away the pinking first, because if I would have done that first, it probably would have been a lot more cleaned up. But if you see right here on my ends, they hang over and is slightly wavy, and that's because the pinking got in the way of everything. The outside edge is all pinking, so I did make sure that I kept the pinked edge all the way around the perimeter, but it's not pretty, and that's okay. Once it's quilted up, it will be no big deal and it will look fine. But I can tell you right now, you can see this is probably one of the sloppiest I have made in a very long time. But you know what? I don't care. It's gonna get quilted up and I'm gonna keep moving on. Once it's got binding, you'll never know anything's not matching up, and you know, once it's quilted, who cares? All right, so it's not being entered into a beauty contest, so there's that. Moving on, let's get the block of the month done. Let's hope this is in my wheelhouse for today's doings, because I don't want to mess this up. This is a long-term project here. All right, so that piece don't need pressed. I'm going to press this. I'm going to press that, and I'm going to press that. I'm going to go over my instructions and then make some cuts and start putting this together. All right, I'm all pressed up, ready to cut. So this one is already the size it needs to be. So the rest of it, I'm gonna go ahead and cut now. Okay, now to lay out the pieces, we're going to start with these rectangles of the white or cream color, and we're going to take our polka dot brown, and I am going to, you can draw your line on the back side. I'm not going to. I'm going to sew from this corner to here, and then I'm going to fold it back and sew another one on from this corner to here, and we're going to create some flying geese, just like this. So I'm going to make 4 of those real quick. I have 4 of them sewn on, and then I'm going to trim away the excess. 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to go ahead and press towards the piece that I just added. And now I'm going to go ahead and add that other side. They are now sewn on. I'm going to cut away the excess with my 1/4 inch seam allowance and then press towards the piece I just added. Now these are made, and we're going to take one of these pieces of the orange or coral. Honestly, it looks corally pink to me. We're going to attach it to the point side of our flying geese. I'm going to go ahead. They should be exactly the same size. I'm just going to line them all up and then take them over to the machine and sew them on. I have plenty of a 1/4 inch seam going on here, so, or for my point, so I shouldn't lose it. But if you want to be cautious about it, you can flip it over and sew from this side and then aim for that V right there for before it. Not that side of it, this side of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and press these towards the color I just added. It looks like I have a good point perfectly there, perfect here. And perfect, you know, these are so perfect. Why couldn't I do the other thing all perfect? Right, because I'm kind of trying to keep this block of the month like exact, you know. Plus these pieces are cut exact, and on the other project, the charm squares need to be cut. Take the pinking off of them before cutting them. Now these are done, so these are going to go around like this. And then we are going to take these squares right here. For now, I'm just going to lay them where they go, and we're going to take these squares right here, and I'm going to snowball from here to here on this corner, just like this, creating a churn dash block within this. So they're going to go right here, corner to corner. So I'm going to go ahead and sew on each corner one of these pinky coral pieces. Now that these are all sewn, I'm going to go ahead and cut away my 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then I'm going to press towards the piece I just added. I'm going to place these where they go. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my strip pieces and I'm going to sew them together into a strip unit. So I'm going to sew them together into a strip unit. I'm going to go ahead and press all these towards the brown. Now that those are sewn, I'm going to just move that out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and turn them. And then I need the right size ruler for this. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out the size that I need. So I'm going to cut 4. And it's going to be here, oops, there. And then I'm going to cut my, these pieces are going to get sewn together to make this. All right, let's do this again. Go ahead and cut the next 1 and one more. Cut out the size I need. These two make a 4 patch. This goes there. That will go there. And then I got one 4 patch worth, a second 4 patch worth, and I need 2 more 4 patches worth. So now I'm going to go over and sew these 4 patches together. So that gives me 4 patches. I'm going to go ahead and press these like this. I'm just going to press them all in the same direction. And now everything is ready to be sewn together. So I'm going to go ahead now and sew the main block together. I'm going to sew this onto there, there, and there, and then add the next piece. The block is together, so now I'm going to go ahead and sew 2 sides on, and then everything is exactly the same size if you use your 1/4 inch seam. And then I'm going to sew 2 of these onto here and these 2 onto there, and then attach them. So I'm going to start with just these sides first. Sides are sewn on, so now I'm just going to attach these and these. These are sewn on. This is pressed towards this, and these ones are going to be pressed in towards the piece. So these ones are out and these ones are being pressed in. Now making sure that the brown is in towards the block, I'm going to line these up and sew them on. So I'm going to put this one on, everything should nest, and that one on, and everything should nest. Now I'm just going to press it away from the center. And here is this month's block. Let's open the box for previous blocks and take a look. So this month, that was last month, and here is the month before. Ooh, that's going to be so pretty. I'm loving it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now and put these in their box that I've been keeping them in this Open Gate box. I am also keeping the directions in here so that when I get a chance, I'm going to make myself a second quilt with these same blocks, but another block of the month is what I'm going to do when I get some time, which I don't have right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away. I'm going to grab my super wonky table runner, and I'm going to take it and quilt it. And here it is, all done. I wanted to come on face to face to tell you I'm sorry for being such a Tiffy downer. Yesterday was a bad day. Today is still a bad day, but yesterday was a bad day. And I messed this up, and I said, oh, well, I'm just going to leave it and blah, blah, blah. I couldn't live with myself. So I took the whole thing apart. That's something I don't ever do, but I just could not live with myself. So I took it all apart and then matched everything so it all lines up. Now, I do have to give you that one tip again. Trim the charm pack down to 5 inches because it's a little bit bigger than 5 inches. And, well, this project, because it has such small pieces in between, you kind of need to have that 1/4 inch seam, and you're not going to get that with those pinked edges, because then you have to line up the blue piece next to the pinked on the inside of the mountain, and it confuses you to have to sew there, because then you think you're not sewing a 1/4 inch seam, but technically you are, just from a different spot. So I would just 100% trim the charm pack down, and there it lies straight. Mine is a little on the, like, it was wavy a little bit, but that's because I took the whole thing apart, then I starched it to get it to be flat, then I ironed everything, and then put it back together. So I wish I would have just trimmed the charm pack, and normally I would, and this time I should have, but I didn't. So I just decided to take it apart and put it back together. Turned out great. I quilted it in a celery color thread with a floral, which I'll show you up close in a second. And then there's the back. It's just like a I don't even know, but it was just a scrap that I had left over that fit it perfectly. But now it looks a lot better and it doesn't make me feel horrible that I messed something up in this video. So hopefully my honesty helps you fix your projects and don't worry if you mess it up, because you could take it apart and put it back together again. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, let's take a closer look. The whole thing does not fit in the frame of the camera, but you can see now that I lined everything up. And I used pins to do that because I was so frustrated when I was putting the rows together. I was like, oh, I need this I need to take the time to do the pinning to get it right. The quilting is done in a celery color thread, so you can kind of see it. It's flowers. Let me flip it over so that you can see the flowers on the back side. See? So it's flowers and loops and leaves. So there's a flower right there. Right there. They're not perfect because, again, from the front side, some of the areas with the green, I could not see the celery as good. But the back side looks great. So there it is. And here was the block of the month. And it will go in the bin that I am keeping them in. I don't know why I call it a bin. It's the Open Gate box that I am keeping my block of the months in. So there are projects done. Good job.